see it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Patriots. I love you. Patriots, just before the intermission, I said, think about it, Patriots. This one issue, the issue of removing all Washington incumbents, can become our common and unifying message to strike terror in the heart of every single Washington incumbent. Both parties. Now that's the kind of terrorism I can support. How about you? If we, the people, demand the removal of all Washington incumbents for decades of incompetence and corruption, and replace them with public servants having to abide by a new set of rules named the Congressional Reform Act of 2012, well, I guarantee victory and the restoring of America. Patriots, I will explain this 12-point plan immediately after the intermission. Thank you. Well, there you have it, Patriots. Well, Patriots, it's now time to present my plan to restore America and return sanity once and for all to our government. And remember, this is the same government that has been unable to reduce our dependency on foreign oil in over 40 years. How inept or corrupt is that, America? Well, Patriots, the quickest way to transform America is to first transform Congress. We begin this transformation by firing all Washington incumbents, both parties. After all, if this is what experience provides, I think America is ready for a little bit of naivete. Of course, we fire the enemy incumbents by voting them out of office, if we can, or forcing them to resign, or making them see the wisdom of our thinking. Or perhaps we convince them to make the greatest sacrifice for America, their own resignation. And although no doubt many good people have not yet been infected by extended periods in the swamp, and are probably well-meaning, being a career politician is no longer an option. It's just that simple. No more career politicians. No more Pelosi's, Reeds, Franks, Dodds, Rangels, Waters, Boxers, Feinstein, and the list goes on and on and on. But removing enemy incumbents is only part of the solution, especially if the process of replacing them yields the same results, which is likely unless America can completely drain the swamp. No, something else is needed. What is that something else? Let's call it General Starburst Congressional Reform Act of 2012. Okay, it's a bit long, but let's go with it for the moment. Hey, can I get a drum roll? I like it. It goes like this. It starts with term limits as the first item on the list. 12 years max, which translates to possibly 2 6-year Senate terms, or 6 2-year House terms, or 1 6-year Senate term and 3 2-year House terms. Well, you get the idea, but the key item is no more than 12 years tops. And by the way, this applies to all Senate and congressional aides as well. 2. No tenure and no pension. That's right, no sweetheart pension. Congressmen collect a salary while in office and receive no pay when the Washington official exits. 3. Congress, which means past, present, and future, participates in Social Security. This translates into having all congressional retirement funds moved to the Social Security system immediately. All their future funds also flow into the same Social Security system. Congress therefore participates in Social Security right alongside regular Americans. 4. Congress can purchase their own retirement plan, just like all Americans can. 5. Congress will no longer vote themselves pay raises. Since when do employees set their own compensation packages? Instead, congressional pay will rise by the lower of the Consumer Price Index, or 3%. 6. Congress also loses their current health care system and participates in the same health care system as the American people. That's right, the same plan as America. No doubt Congress will begin reading the same bills they now pass. 7. Congress must equally abide by the same laws they impose on the American people. I don't think any comment is needed here. 8. All contracts with congressmen, past and present, are void effective 1 January 2012. The American people did not make these contracts with congressmen. Congressmen made all these contracts for themselves. 9. Lobbying Congress will be illegal, and if committed by a former senator or House of Representative, it will be considered a felony and they can expect to go to jail. 10. The business of doing the government's business must be conducted either in a public forum and memorialized, or with a court reporter present to meet the same objective. That's right, if you talk government business, it better be in the public domain or it's illegal. In short, even more than the actual decisions Congress makes, America wants to know how they arrived at those decisions. No doubt this will make modern court reporting technology in great demand, but the returns gained will far exceed what corruption is now costing Americans. 11. Entrapment of any Washington official would be legal and even encouraged by its citizens. This means officials better be of true heart. And finally, 12. Ethical violations would now be judged in public tribunals composed of the official constituents instead of fellow congressmen. The internet would make all of this possible, and it would be fast, inexpensive, and of course fair. In summary, serving in Congress should be an honor, not a career. The Founding Fathers envisioned government officials serving their term or terms, then going home and then going back to work. Well, there you have it, Patriots. My plan to restore America. And I guarantee victory if our message is relentless and in their face to transform Congress before we tackle any other issue. Of course, this Reform Act does not currently have all the necessary legalese to bind incumbents or future incumbents to the intent of this agreement, at least not at this time. It's nonetheless anticipated that organizations such as the Heritage Foundation, Hillsdale's College, Judicial Watch, and many others would look forward to drafting its final content, the binding legal language, and of course the teeth that enforces it. Ironically, the same incumbents that blatantly ignore the U.S. Constitution will be desperately seeking, no doubt, a way to make this reform unconstitutional. I also suggest we use the same gusto to shove the Reform Act down Congress's throat, just as Obamacare was shoved down ours. And for those Democrats that participated in this totally corrupt process, here's what a spine looks like. In summary, America's message should be to implement this Reform Act for all incumbents, whether newly elected or those already residing in the swamp. Since those already in the swamp would not likely commit to the Reform Act's terms, America will simply have to vote them out and replace with new public servants willing to do so. I'd like to finish now by saying the upcoming 2012 presidential election is America's first step to restoring God, country, the Constitution, and the rule of law. So let's get out there and vote all incumbents out and send a message to this Congress, this President, this administration. Let's take back America. God bless America.